had to go through the painful experience of letting go. We've had to let go of people we loved, beloved pets, homes, social groups, locations, jobs, and businesses. We let go of the places, the things, and the people who define us. We even find ourselves needing to let go of the habits that we formed that have helped us to cope with a particular time in our life, but it's no longer serving us. Typically, when we make a conscious decision to let go of something or someone, we do so with the thought that by releasing one thing, we're bringing something greater into our life. But often there's a period of limbo between the time that we let go and the time the next thing comes into our lives. Take a relationship, for example. We may be deeply dissatisfied with a particular relationship and know on some level we want and deserve something more or better for ourselves. We may want a partner who is more emotionally available, more empathetic, caring, and nurturing. We may want someone we resonate more deeply with, who we feel a greater connection with, who we feel more loved and understood by. We let go of the past to make room for something or someone new to come in. What can really be frustrating is when you go through all the pain and sometimes trauma of letting go of what was, and nothing seems to be moving in to take its place. Well, except maybe loneliness, isolation, and possibly the fear that we've made a mistake. This is where I found myself many times. I found myself sitting in the darkness with myself, wondering, how did I get here? I asked the question, if I'm doing the right thing by letting go, why hasn't a better relationship shown up? Why did the better situation not come in yet? Why do I find myself alone, isolated, losing faith that I will ever have what it is that I truly want? I'm much older now. When I was young, a new relationship was always coming in, and in the beginning, I typically thought it was a better one than the one that I let go of. So as I'm moving into my mid 60s, I can easily tell myself that I'm older now. I'm not as attractive. I'm not as desirable. But I realize that this isn't it. It is that I've grown so much that I'm no longer the same person. The real letting go has not been a person or a location or a business. It was letting go of the person I used to be so I could become the person I was meant to be. The person I used to be hadn't learned the lessons that I've learned. She was naive in so many ways. She got involved with whoever she was attracted to, believing attraction was all there was to picking a partner. She was codependent, believing she could fix people who came into her life who she thought were broken, people who were narcissistic, drug addicted, bipolar, and lost. The old version of myself resisted many life lessons and continued to repeat them. So, although it looked like I was trading in one relationship for a better one, I continued to have the same relationship over and over, but with different people. I had friendships with women who were selfish and unreliable. I had a belief that it was somehow my fault that people let me down. I somehow wasn't enough. I couldn't do enough or be enough for others. But at some point along the journey, the real healing began. The real shedding and peeling away of all those layers that no longer served me. I started walking away from my relationships with people who weren't pulling their weight or showing up for me. I let go of the takers, the manipulators, the users, and the flakes. I let go of the relationships that felt like one-way streets. I started learning to really trust my intuition on a deeper level. And even if a past love pulled me back in for a dance, I was quick to cut ties and walk away again, integrating an even deeper lesson. I started to learn one of the most important lessons when it came to letting go of the past. My greatest relationship was always with myself. And the one I was really letting go of was the parts of myself that couldn't come with me on the next leg of my journey. I went through a series of deaths and rebirths. I was continually molting and shedding those old skins and donning new ones that were more suited to who I was becoming. There was a time that I believed that there would only be one death and one rebirth in my life. But what I discovered was that there were many. Life was a series of deaths and rebirths. And each time that I went through such a transformation, I stepped more fully into my authenticity. My constant striving to get there brought me to the realization that there was no there. There was no place to get to. I wasn't going to arrive because life is a journey and the journey never ends. We just keep going through our ups and our downs and our deaths and our rebirths. We suffer the losses along the way and realize that every person who comes into our lives brings with them a lesson to be learned. We learn that everyone comes into our life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. You've probably heard that before. Very few are here for a lifetime. At least that's been my experience. I've had a whole lot more seasons and reasons. I've learned to let go, regardless of the length of time that I've known someone. When that relationship has outgrown its form, it's time to walk away. There's something powerful to be learned in walking alone. A woman who walks alone is a powerful woman indeed, because she's learned to rely upon herself. She has learned to be true to herself and trust in something greater than herself. There's no failure in walking alone. There's strength. There's a kind of empowerment one can embody no other way. The woman who walks alone can truly embrace freedom if she sees the opportunity, because she doesn't need to conform her life to anyone else's needs or expectations. She can follow her own path. She can listen to her deepest inner knowing and follow that without anyone telling her she's crazy or misguided. And even if well-meaning people do tell her that she's crazy or misguided, she knows that they don't understand her. And she doesn't give them the power to influence her decisions. Although there are times I feel very alone and isolated, I've come to a deeper understanding about where I am on this journey. I'm in the biggest growth phase of my life because I've learned how not to try and fit into a mold any longer. I've literally broken the mold. I'm now free to be who I am. And had I tried to fit myself into a relationship with another person at this time, I would have missed the opportunity to live my life truly free at a time where it really matters. Sometimes we find ourselves having long periods of time alone because this is where our greatest expansion is. Where in the past, our discomfort may have led us to getting involved with someone else prematurely, or go back to an old relationship, or sign up for the dating sites again. There's a part of us that knows we want to truly embrace ourselves right where we are. When we've lived this life long enough and learned the lessons we've come here to learn on this journey, we come to the realization that no love interest or partner in life is going to make our life better or even easier. We simply trade one set of problems for another. We may not feel so alone, but we may also feel more confined or lose some of the things we loved about our solo life. It doesn't mean that when the time is right and the person is right, we don't make the decision to partner with another, but it can be no less than a true partnership. Our soul would not settle for less. We may have redefined what true partnership is. We may have shifted our expectations. We may have even developed a new understanding of what love is. We may approach the relationship not from a place of needing the other to complete us or fulfill us or love us in the way we cannot love ourselves, but from a place of wholeness and completeness within ourselves. When we let go of our expectations that another person is going to be something for us, they are free to be themselves, and we can be free to be ourselves. And this is true partnership. It isn't about asking another to conform to my ideals or meet my needs and expectations or be something for me, but it's about my learning to meet my own needs, to find my wholeness within myself, and stop expecting my partners in life to be who I need them to be. There's freedom in giving ourselves permission to be exactly who we are. And there's freedom in allowing others to be exactly who they are. If we don't like who they are, we shouldn't be trying to partner with them. When we learn how to let go, we stop trying to hold on to what's no longer working. We stop trying to hold on to what feels safe and familiar. We stop trying to stay tethered to our comfort zone and instead learn to embrace the discomfort of the unfamiliar. We learn how to walk into the unknown with trust and an inner knowing that everything will work out as it should. I used to hold on to a belief that if I didn't have a primary relationship, there was something wrong with me. I wasn't lovable or wanted or desired. I believed that having that primary partnership was the goal. It was the happily ever after. It was what we all strived for. I had a belief if I couldn't hold on to a partnership, it meant that I was somehow flawed, inadequate, incapable of a relationship. But what I know to be true now is that I simply stopped choosing partnership over myself. I stopped making it more important than my own happiness and solitude. I stopped believing that partnership was the key to happiness. On the contrary, I started to realize just how much I valued my alone time, how much I loved to crawl into my comfortable bed at the end of the day alone in solitude and enjoy the silent reflections. I started to value the simplicity of eating when I'm hungry and eating simply. And what I really valued was to focus my caregiving self on me, taking care of my own needs instead of focusing on taking care of another. All my discoveries don't mean that I'm not open to sharing any of these experiences with the right person, but enjoying where I am and what I have right now is a real treasure. In the past, when I let go of a person in my life that I was in relationship with, making room in my life for someone who was a better match for me to come in, I believed the universe would reward me with that better match, at least within a year or two at most. But what I'm realizing now is that when I let go of the person who wasn't working, I was making room for a greater relationship with myself. And the deeper truth is we need that greater relationship with ourselves first and foremost before we can have that great relationship with another. We often believe we are ready for that great relationship with another, but it only takes a few steps into a relationship to reveal a deeper truth. Maybe old insecurities start to resurface, or our codependency is reactivated. Maybe we start turning down dates with the other to spend more time alone until we realize that we prefer being alone. What I have found is that I had to go deeply into my aloneness, my loneliness, my isolation, my fears, my insecurities, my lack and limitation, and belief that I'm somehow not enough to make friends with it all. And the most powerful thing I need to do in the quiet and the stillness is to connect with that powerful spiritual force within me. And this is where I realized I wasn't alone at all. I was being held by a force that's so powerful and that was guiding my life in ways I could have never understood before. And our connection with such a power can only be found when we descend deep enough into the silence and our aloneness. Having the courage to let go of what was not serving my highest self in this life is what has guided me to the place of true connection. I had to be willing to let go of who I was not meant to be in order to step more fully into who I have come here to be. I let go of that part of me that was constantly dancing with the black wolf, the egoic part of myself that wanted to conform to an ideal. And I learned to walk with the white wolf, the spiritual guide within that embodies my instincts and intuition and values walking in alignment with the true self above all else. Do I still get lonely? Yes, at times. Do I still wish there could be someone special in my life? Well, yes, at times I do. But the true lesson in being where I am now is embracing and loving exactly where we are and trusting that there's a purpose here. And so I invite you, who find yourself alone, to really start embracing the journey of aloneness on a deeper level and allow this journey to help you shed the layers of who you are no longer and be reborn into a higher version of yourself, one who finds true freedom in following your own North Star. So please join me on the path by signing up for my Finding Your Soul Path free 7-day course where you learn to truly embrace this journey of becoming. Let's walk together in our strength and our power, because the deeper truth is we are never really alone. Namaste.